Hello again, everyone. I'm Nesbitt, and you're the People of Skyrim. Okay, today we're going to talk about load order testing, really, and some of the illusions and misconceptions, and words and written word and streams that are put out there that really doesn't help the community or mod users as a whole. Let's just say, I've watched some streams recently and I've seen some very poor explanations about why conflicts within certain load orders happen. I won't bring up the names of those streamers, as there's no point. But what is important is the false information they pull out, or like I say, users that write on other forums or whatever, and that talk between themselves and get a lot wrong. And I'm going to give you some examples. Okay, if you've got a load order issue and you think it's one particular mod, there is only one way to confirm whether it's that mod. If it's on Xbox, you do a hard reset and you run just that mod with a new game start, and you make sure that it's it's got nothing else loaded which will conflict with it, and you test that mod, and you test that mod 3 or 4 times, 5 times, so you see repeated results, whether it's with or without errors. That's the only way if you know a mod is to blame. If you've got a mod load order of 100 odd plus mods, and you say, let's say, got a landscape texture, and you think there's an issue with that, and you think removing that landscape texture when you're running other landscape textures, gives you a fair result and a fair answer to it being the problem, you're wrong. There's something called multiple mod conflicts, either 2 or more mods, and the only way to know if that mod is at fault is to test it at the base level on its own, and to retest and to retest and to retest to be sure of your results. Then once you're sure of your results, you then slowly add the mods that you think might clash with it, until you find the mod that does clash with it, or mods more than one. And sometimes it takes a lot of time to break this down and to find the answers you're looking for. But to sit within a mod load order of 80 or 100 mods or 200 mods, and to remove one mod and to think you found, and you can absolutely state, couldn't say the word, so I'll say absolutely at that moment, absolutely state that one mod is to blame is well, again, I'm going to have to come back to that word, ignorance, a lack of gaming knowledge, and lack of effort as well, and contempt really for mod authors, because what you're doing is you're going to spread your falsehood, especially if you're a streamer, onto thousands potentially of people, and they're going to carry and repeat that lie, and that, or not necessarily, it's not a deliberate lie, but that failing is going to be repeated by people, because instead of finding out for themselves, most will just repeat what they hear, and repetition is the biggest form of brainwashing. Okay, it's quite simple as that. This is one of the biggest problems within the community, and it really does need to be addressed, and everyone needs to take responsibility for that, because if we do, what we get is a better community with better mods, with better understanding, and it's better for everyone. But of course, again, this takes time and care, and again, you have to understand as well, a lot of people want to spread disinformation. It's politics, it's agendas, being that human beings are quite simple creatures, a lot of them, they always have this impulse and need to take sides rather than be logical, practical and correct. And unfortunately, the human condition is something we always struggle against, each and every one of us. But from my point of view as an author and as a user, and as part of this community, like I said long ago, we need a change in culture, and we really do, and even more so with the likes of Bethesda the company itself and other companies that make such mods, and the way that they screw over their customers in terms of quality of product release and so on. But that's a side issue in a sense, and not really about load orders as such, although it does tap into it, of course, because their in-game bugs fundamentally affect us all. But my point is, again, going back to testing, you have to test the mod on its own, and you have to break down your load order and find where the issues lie. Okay, because if like, for example, you test my mod and another mod, and on their own they're absolutely fine, and you put them together and there's a conflict, then a patch is required. There's nothing wrong with either mod. A patch is required. Sometimes you can have two mods together, they're not an issue. You add a couple more, and then all of a sudden you've got an issue. But you remove one mod before you had the issue, and you think it's that mod. It's not necessarily. It could be clashing with the two other mods or the three other mods that you've got. And it's an incredibly complex process. And like I say, people will spew out incorrect information on mods or authors about things, and do an incredible injustice to that mod author. And again, I will defend all mod authors again, because the ones that really care for their work and take time, because I think that's a huge injustice on those mod authors and on their work and on their effort. And again, on the side of the user, because I know I've been on the other side as well, if you've got a mod author that doesn't update or care about their mods and you like the mod, it can be incredibly frustrating. But then, again, also in the defense of the mod author, they might not do this full time. So again, it's an imperfect world, I know. But first and foremost, if you think, this is about taking responsibility for your load orders and understanding how to best check for errors that you have. And the only way you can do that is repeatedly test a mod at the base level, new game start, with just Skyrim in that mod. 3 or 4, 5 times. Make sure your tests are concise and they repeat themselves. And then move on to the other mods that conflict with it, and either try to get it patched or compromise on the mods that conflict. This is really the only thing, and the only way that we can go. It's the best way if you want the best gaming experience, quite simply. I hope if you take anything from this video, it's this. If you want a good load order, and if you have issues with your load order, you have to break it down. You have to break everything down to the base level, and then rebuild and work up from there. And if you don't do this, you'll be blaming mods that don't deserve it. Like someone blamed Riverwood Grove for some landscape issues, grass everywhere. Nothing to do with Riverwood Grove. You test Riverwood Grove at the base level, it's absolutely fine. I've tested it with many grass mods, and I give an example. If you look on the Riverwood Grove mod page on Bethnet, it was only on Bethnet, and on Xbox this happened. I put a video up as an example. It's not. It's where someone has a complicated multiple mod conflict load order. They're running a poor grass mod, and it's causing errors. It's got nothing to do with Riverwood Grove or what I do, because of the very simple nature in which I build, and I don't add and do things that cause those sorts of errors. Okay, it's simple as that with those mods. They're very simple. So people have to look to themselves and stop blaming mod authors, whether it's me or anyone else or Arthmore or anyone else, when it's not due, when it's not the author's issue. But as I said in the previous video, I'll say it again, people will lash out when they get frustrated. But I'll say this again, if you're new to TPOS and you're struggling, come back later. Don't fucking use it. Come back when you've got more experience. And I will say that to any newbie, to anyone who has trouble with TPOS, because you need knowledge of mods and of modding, and you need some discipline, but most of all you need some time. And if you haven't got that, don't play with the People of Skyrim. There's no point. You're just gonna get frustrated and anxious and fed up, angry with me and pissed off with modern. So come back to it when you're ready. It's like anything in life, we have to take baby steps towards our goals sometimes, or you'll end up like me. I did that. I made the mistake, even in the building of TPOS, of taking on too much too soon, and I learned the hard way. And I'll tell you, after all the effort I put into it, it was a hard lesson to learn. But I got there in the end because I persevered. I don't give up, and I'm not saying you give up. I'm just saying come back to it. If you want to use it, when you've taken some time and you've developed some skill with your load order and modern knowledge, because there is a lot to learn. And again, this is a help video for you guys and girls, and I hope it does help. I hope sharing this my experiences helps you. I'm Nesbitt. You're the people of Skyrim. Good gaming, folks.